What's up, everybody? I get a lot of requests to show how OVO papers are made, what software I use. So here's a screencast explaining the methods. So it starts off with nothing more than a source, an image. I'll use Venice as an example. This is the first one that I was really happy with. There's an original image. Sometimes I modify the original, sometimes I recreate assets, and this is a good example of that. So from this image, I photoshopped the sky out and covered up the text on the trees and then extracted the trees. And then I used Illustrator. I did that with Photoshop, and then I used Illustrator to recreate the OVO crest. And what you end up getting is these separate assets. From there, I build a HTML page that includes these images, trees. We have trees in the OVO crest. An HTML page that includes these images, so that way, when looked at in a browser, the images are responsive, and any resolution, they look good. You can see again, these are just images. I use CSS3 gradients to create this background. These trees, just an image, and everything is separate. This is to have a resolution independent representation of the graphic. What I do from there is I have what's called a headless browser that iterates through all of the wallpapers. It'll also look at this configuration file for all of the resolutions. It'll iterate through all of the wallpapers as well as all of these resolutions and generate a screenshot of that web page and save it to the hard drive. So when somebody wants to request a new resolution, I just have to add one line of code here and run my generate command, and it just takes a screenshot of all of these wallpaper pages. It saves them as images. So you could see this code. There's a bit to it, but it's not crazy. The technology I use is called Nightmare, which is a high-level abstraction of something called Phantom.js. That's what creates the screenshots. It's a headless WebKit browser. So what ends up happening, I'll actually show you what that looks like. So I have a manifest file that keeps track of all of the wallpapers that I've generated. I just deleted Venice. So now when I rerun my task, what it will do is regenerate all of these wallpapers in the resolutions provided in the config file. Venice is the only one. It'll create the web page. It'll compile the less. It will copy images. It will minify JavaScript. It will minify dependencies. And then lastly, it will compress the HTML page. So what ends up resulting is the HTML page minified. It uses knockout. Let's go ahead and run the server. What we get is this is the demo page. What results is, again, HTML, very plain stuff. I use a technology called knockout to keep the HTML file size small, but render all of these wallpapers for you guys to download. And after that generation task, the wallpapers are all stored in simple folders right here for you guys to download. So I didn't have to really worry about 640 by 960. That was automatic. 272 by 340 looks great. Miscellaneous, we got 1500 by 500. That's super wide, but look, that looks fucking sweet. So this shit just works out. Super easy. There's not much else to it. That's it.